With LEGO sending me so many city sets recently, it kind of got me thinking, what are the best city sets ever? I feel like so many of us grew up with LEGO City. That was kind of our starting point for getting into the LEGO hobby, and that was certainly the case for me. So I'm going to take some time in this video to show you what the definitive LEGO City sets of my childhood were, and I'm looking forward to hearing what yours were too. Let's take a closer look. Now, before I get into my top 5 sets, I just do want to point out these because this is just another giant LAN advertisement. No, not really. What I love that City is doing this wave in particular compared to some of the past waves is it's leaning into the civilian stuff. And I think that's where LEGO City really shines. And even as a kid, that was the stuff that I liked. And so I hope it is the case, that these sets here, whether it be the giant ski resort or even something as silly as the car wash, I hope that these are going to become the favorites of a kid someday too. But for now, let's go to the classic LEGO City stuff. I don't think it should be too much of a surprise that LEGO fans enjoy building stuff and perhaps construction to some extent. Of course, this was the case for my brother and I as young kids. We gravitated to some of the construction things, and LEGO City produced some amazing construction sets back in the day, such as this set simply titled Dump Truck, which has perhaps one of the largest single non-baseplate elements produced by the company in this beautiful big yellow bed. I don't think LEGO has ever made a dump truck quite this big outside of the Technic line since, and that's what makes this one still special even to this day. Stuff like this was great too for young kids because it was so easy to put together. I mean, it basically is all just one giant piece and some giant wheels. You attach the other, 100 so pieces to the chassis, and you've got yourself probably the biggest vehicle in your entire LEGO collection. It's pretty sweet. This was an easy one to take outside too, fill it up in the sandbox or on the beach, and I love the versatility a set like this has to offer. And that's at least partially, for me, what makes it all so memorable. I mentioned that I appreciate it when LEGO City tends to stay away from fire and police, but there is one fire set that's worth highlighting, and that's the airport fire truck. Clearly, this isn't your typical LEGO fire truck in the color scheme alone, but it's also intended for a rather different purpose, putting out aircraft fires. And the style that it brings, especially when it was released in 2005, is so unique. There's a fun little mechanism in the middle where the hose can actually pop up thanks to some Technic pieces, and you actually have a decent amount of range with it. I also love the low profile of it. It does feel like it's something from the airport meant to go under the wings of aircraft. And in the back we've got our firefighting supplies and also additional accessories in the cabinets on the side. This is why it's so great when LEGO breaks the mold and goes for something unique, something that hasn't been done before. Even though this is niche, it still is an important part of the city. Every LEGO city's gotta have an airport, and with it, it should have the safety that it requires too. So a great little set. Having lived in the Midwest all my life, I think the LEGO City farm sub-theme especially spoke to me, but if there's one set that really stood out, it's the Pig Farm. Pig Farm and Tractor can basically be summed up as the Pig Battle Pack. It included no less than 4 pigs, which, for a LEGO City set at this price point, was absolutely incredible. If I'm not mistaken, this was some sort of limited availability thing, maybe a Toys R Us exclusive, so it wasn't terribly easy to get your hands on, and I know it's quite expensive to get now, mostly because of your friends' little piggies. But this is such a great, well-rounded set that wasn't ludicrously expensive. We've got the entire pig farm here with the fenced-in area, and also some veggies for them to eat, which cleverly made use of the tops of treasure chests to create a little trough. There's one of the classic LEGO bush elements, some hay bales simply represented by 2x3 bricks, and then there's this beautiful tractor, and this has always stood out to me. The shaping seems so advanced for something that was intended for like 6-year-olds, and I love the lime green color scheme on the tractor too. It's just perfectly done. And it was far superior to the tractor that was included in the large barn set from the same year, or the standalone ones too. That first farm sub-theme was honestly a game changer for LEGO, and it's always great to see them return to it every once in a while. Hopefully, LEGO Farm continues to be a mainstay of the theme, because it had a lot of great sets back in the day. Now, this video would not be complete without mentioning the absolute insanity that is the LEGO City building crane. Of course, it's the second construction sub-theme set that's made it on this list, but it is such a worthy addition. Never has LEGO made such an accurate and such a massive crane, except outside of the Technic-Line, which doesn't count. And what's so great about this set in particular is that it's so familiar. No matter where you come from, chances are you've seen a crane like this in real life. It's just such a part of modern life. Cranes and construction. The massive size of this thing is just so ridiculous coming from the City line. Especially when you think that this set is probably 15 years old at this point. Even though a set like this might seem a little one note, you know, it's a giant crane, it can move stuff up and down. That was still endless hours of fun. And of course, it included a porta potty, perhaps one of the only sets to ever do so. And there's a lot of fun to be had with that as a kid too. And on top of that, I think the set included some of the best construction signs we had ever gotten. I've literally never taken the thing apart. It's something I always enjoy having around. If I have a mock under construction, I put this thing by it. It's just amazing. But anyway, we've got one more to look at. Something, the epitome of ordinary and extraordinary. And here it is, my favorite LEGO City set, Service Station. LEGO's done a few of these in recent years. By recent years, I mean, I guess my lifetime. But there's something really special about this one. Mostly just its size and everything that it has to offer here. And one of the reasons I think I remember this set in particular so fondly is that it is just so incredibly familiar. Growing up in the US, in the Midwest, there's a lot of gas stations out here. And having a set that reflected the reality I lived in was really, really cool to me as a kid. The service station, the gas station, was something I was intimately familiar with, and all of its goings on. You sat in the van while the parents filled up the car, and so you knew how that thing worked. You'd been through the car wash, so you knew how the car wash worked. Your parents had bought you a donut from the inside, so you knew how the checkout worked. It all felt so familiar and authentic. Believe it or not, even as an 8-year-old kid, I had never been to prison and hadn't gone through the fingerprinting process, and so all the police stations just weren't as personal to me. Same with the fire station. I hadn't yet volunteered to become a firefighter, and it just didn't hit home quite the same way as something as silly as a service station did. And that's what I think is so great about this upcoming wave of city sets and its focus on the civilian parts of life. Things like a car wash that chances are if you own a car you've experienced in some way, shape, or form. Or if you are an outdoor person, perhaps you've gone skiing, snowboarding, or the like. This set's probably going to speak to you and your experiences. Or maybe you live in a super trendy modern home with all sorts of eco-friendly details, and this set's gonna speak to you. Also, it's actually great that LEGO is realizing that their citizens need homes in their cities. I can probably count on one hand how many actual house sets there are from the official City line. Hey, I know you were using the Creator 3-in-1 houses too for your city back in the day. We were all in the same boat. But if you're into skateboarding, it's gonna be one of your favorites. Or maybe you don't live in that super trendy eco-friendly house, but have a nice apartment, or visit a friend who's in an apartment. Perhaps this set speaks to you. Or perhaps the most important experience of all, going to the ice cream parlor. I mean, this would have been a very important part of my LEGO City too back in the day. So yeah, I'm happy with the direction LEGO City is going. And I'm sure next year we'll see the police wave in the winter and the fire wave in the summer, but I hope LEGO does realize the importance of conveying the regular, the ordinary, perhaps the mundane, like a gas station, and how weirdly influential and important those particular sets can be in a child's LEGO City, as they were to mine. Yes, I had a fire station. I think I had 2 fire stations. I had a police station, but it was things like the service station, the farm, the park. Those are what I kept coming back to because they were so familiar and real to me. But anyway, let me know what your favorite city sets of all time are. I think so often we forget about this theme because it is for kids, but the theme has dropped some absolute bangers in the past. Well, have yourself a great life, and I will see you next time.